Black Orchid. I'm going to do it. I'm going to start by saying that there aren't many perfumes or reviews that I get nervous about reviewing. This is one of them, and it's only because it's so revered amongst so many people. It's infamous. It is hugely popular. It's very dividing as well. It's a love or hate, I think. And there's a lot going on. So I want to say that I feel Black Orchid is pretty much probably personal to each person that wears it. There's so many notes going on, it's got so much depth, so many layers, that there are certain notes that some people don't smell at all, and some notes that some people really do smell that even I don't smell. So it's a very individual review. I'm just going to start by saying that because it's just a bit of a weird one for me. So, well, not weird one as in the fragrance is weird, but this review is just going to be quite difficult, I think. So, Tom Ford Black Orchid. It's an oriental floral, came out in 2006. Tom Ford obviously makes very distinct fragrances and has his own stamp on everything, and this one is, I'm guessing, one of his biggest selling ones. I'll go through the notes with you. So, it has got in it, I had to pause then for a second, sorry. So the top notes are French jasmine, black truffle, which is also known as tuber. I think that's the kind of botanical or organic name for it. It's black truffle. It's a type of mushroom which repulses me, not in the perfume, but mushrooms personally repulse me. They're my #1 hated food in the world. They're little slimy slug devils from hell. Ylang ylang, blackcurrant, and then citrus notes. I don't know. When you read the notes of this fragrance across different websites and everywhere else, and everywhere you read things, they always differ. I've read lots of different stuff. I'm going on Fragrantica's notes. There's nothing on the Tom Ford website. So that's the top notes. The heart notes are lotus, spices, again nondescript, fruity notes, nondescript, and then this fantasy orchid, which is what this whole thing is themed around. Tom Ford has created this accord within this perfume that is his own fantasy orchid. Orchids don't actually give up their scent at all in perfumery. It's always a synthetically produced note. I said that in my Velvet Orchid review, which I'll link up here, by the way. I reviewed that one first. Yeah, so it's got this fantasy orchid in it. It's kind of dark, obviously. You can tell from the packaging and the name. If you have never smelled this fragrance before, I'm pretty sure probably most of you have. The base notes: patchouli, sandalwood, dark chocolate, incense, amber, vetiver, and vanilla. So this is kind of like, think of the darkest things you can put in a fragrance and let's put them all together and just let's create a bomb of craziness, and it's great. It's a massive kind of signature thing for Tom Ford, and I don't actually own it. I was sent a sample by Gary Greenwood. Hi Gary. I know this is your signature fragrance, so we'll just see. It's been drying here for a while and it's wet here. So the first thing I'll say about this one is this is a statement perfume, obviously. The packaging, look at it. The name, look at it. The ingredients, look at them. Everything in here is not meant to be sweetness and light. This is something that is very, I'm going to say gothic, a little bit vampiric, is that even a word? Vampy. It's the kind of fragrance that doesn't have a sillage or a sillage, as some people say. The trail is non-existent. This is a wall. This is a wall of fragrance when you wear it. It's like it has its own personality. It's like it changes the atmosphere when you walk in. It's very heavy, very rough textured, dark, like I said, and it goes through way more than 3 kind of olfactory stages. You know, you have top, middle and base, or top, heart and base. This is throwing things at you all over the place, which is really good. That's what you want in a perfume, something that keeps you on your toes. I think I've said that before too. But what I get from this straight away is a very prominent blackcurrant. It's a chocolatey, earthy blackcurrant. Vetiver is really prominent. It kind of smells green and grassy, earthy from patchouli, and it's got, like I said, a rough texture. It's thick and heavy and dark, and it's interesting, and it doesn't stop being interesting from the minute you put it on. It's not something that you're going to instantly like if you're not really into fragrances. It's not something that you'd go and meet someone's mother for the first time wearing. It's kind of a lot more than that, I would say. But yeah, the opening is very rough. It's got a very rough, dense texture, if you could smell a texture. But I really get a lot of blackcurrant from it, and I get a lot of chocolate. Some people don't smell chocolate at all when they smell this fragrance, but I really do. I don't get any mushroominess, which is really good. There's a gorgeous rich floral behind it as well, kind of backing it up, and it's making it a little bit sharp at the same time as being rough and deep. A lot of stuff, I did say that. During the dry down I also get sometimes something a little bit green, tree sap, pine, something a little bit foresty thrown into the mix as well. It's a lot. I don't really find it to be very spicy. It's more about the deeper notes than something that's kind of spicy and a bit nose tingly. This is all about the rougher notes. I know I keep saying the word rough, but that's the word that sticks in my head when I smell this. Piney, sappy, kind of blackcurrant, and the patchouli and vetiver is really what sticks out to me the most, and that's what really holds on, and it's kind of like the glue that holds this together. Those are the two notes that really force themselves together and keep it being very earthy and dark, so I love it for that. I will say, I'd like to say when it dries down that it smooths out a little bit, but it kind of doesn't. Usually when you get to a the base notes or the dry stages and vanilla starts to come forward, it kind of glosses over everything, but that's not what happens in this fragrance. It still stays ferocious and, I don't know, just kind of gothic and cool. So I don't really know what else to say. I mean, I could go on and on and on about this. There's so many things going on. I'm smelling it dry and wet, so excuse my acrobatics here. But yeah, I'd love to hear everyone's comments on this, because everyone, like I said, gets different notes from this and has a different experience, I think. When I read reviews, it's all over the place. But my overall and closing statement will be, this is a rough, dark chocolate and earthy green fragrance, and that's it. I say that as my door is shaking. A storm has just hit London and it's going crazy outside, so if you're in the UK, batten down the hatches and sleep well tonight. Please click up here to subscribe, and I'll speak to you guys soon for another review.